She says, just call 911 and see if they can find you, but it could take a while, and the call drops. My signal is gone. Thanks, Sprint. Thanks, Brittany. And now, all I want in the world is that orange Gatorade. The one the biker woman offered to me. I want to drink it all down in one swallow with my scorching hot throat. My lips are so dry and chapped they're sucking in on themselves, but somehow I'm still moving. It's sort of funny that I don't like Gatorade because I recently found out Baja Blast is 50% Mountain Dew and 50% Blue Powerade. I'm like neither of those things, but the combination of both is incredibly enjoyable. Two things I don't like creating something I do, sort of like extreme heat and poisonous snakes. This is when I finally fall, when my body completely gives out and my hierarchy of needs turns into only a bottom base level: air, food, water, but mostly water. All my sim meters are in the red and I have no way to fix it. I notice there are cactus spines sticking out of the rubber sole of my hiking shoes while I collapse into the sand against a rock. There's a long ringed tail sticking out from under the rock right next to me. It could be a large lizard or another rattlesnake, but I feel myself just say out loud, just do your thing, buddy. Speaking for the first time in hours makes my lips hurt. They feel torn and bloody, and it finally hits me. I'm going to die out here. I'm going to become one of those bodies horseback riders and hikers find on the trails. And for a minute, I'm just glad I wore something cute. That this outfit is going to be the one they find me in. They're going to see my little yellow car parked overnight at the visitor center and realize someone didn't come back. So eventually they'll make the connection, find my ID in the car, and call my parents to let them know it only took 3 months for the desert to kill their son. Tell them my less interesting version of Into the Wild. And at least Christopher McCandless was in the snow, freezing to death instead of drying up in zero humidity. What I wouldn't give for a snowflake. I'd do a dance any requested right this second for just a drop of rain. It's getting closer to sunset, which issues a new set of problems. The upside being the sun will be gone, so perhaps I'd be able to move again, but I'd just be wandering in the dark. The coyotes didn't install streetlights, and they only like to party at night. The snakes, too. Above me, and what's left of the daylight, vultures are starting to circle. The beautiful wilderness has turned on me, and I just want to pull out my phone again, call back Brenda in conservation education, and leave my life story on her voicemail. But I can't. It's quiet and peaceful, and for a moment I wonder if maybe this isn't the worst way to die. If the tranquility of the mountains I'd sought out and come to love could be my own version of falling asleep and never waking up again. I'm not even breathing heavily anymore. My eyes are starting to shut on their own, and the pounding in my head from the heat has almost subsided. My mind feels clear. That's when I hear it. A motor. Somewhere in the distance, in the opposite direction I've been heading, there's a car. It can't be from the Calico parking area. I'm miles from there by now, and I'd never make it back even if I turned around. But this new sound, this vehicle to the east, maybe I can make it there. So I look to the thick tail on the ground, the setting sun, and the vultures in the sky to tell them, not fucking yet. I bring myself to my feet and drag myself across the sand for half a mile or so as the roar of the occasional vehicle gets closer. Eventually I find a road that is definitely not part of the scenic drive and protected with a barbed wire fence. But if you think a little barbed wire is going to stand between you and your own survival, just ask James Franco. Because I would have done nothing short of slowly sawing my own arm off with a tiny serrated knife to see my cats again. To sit naked in my living room eating Tex-Mex fast food. To be able to call my mom and let her know I made it back to my apartment safely. I had to take off my hiking bag and throw it over to fit through the fence. I cut my hands and tank top on the barbs as I climb and push myself through, but eventually I'm on the other side. Before me is an empty road. I drag my bag with me and stand directly in the middle of it. All social norms and pleasantries out the window. I'm not giving the next car a choice whether or not to stop. I am demanding they stop. Only some of how crazy I look actually hits me. When I'm standing there with my arms raised high and my rainbow straw hat for what feels like forever, I'm wondering if I would stop for me. If I were in the comfort of my car listening to show tunes, would I swerve around or pump the brakes for the man in the tank top and the short shorts waving his arms at me? Would I risk my life to be his savior, knowing this could be some sort of scam? Something like when a person pretends they have a flat tire on the highway, then some good Samaritan stops to help them, they rob them or assault them in some way. Is that what the next car is going to think of me? A red SUV is approaching. It's been my first shot since shoving myself through the fence, all stigmata hands and ripped clothes, sweaty, chapped, desperate. They slow down and brake in front of me. I can finally see the face of the man driving the vehicle, and he and the woman in the passenger seat look terrified of me. It's a common theme of the day. The man rolls down the window and cautiously projects, "You all right, friend?" I want to cry when I tell him my abridged story. Still standing in my position on the road, legs and arms spread like a big giant gay X blocking their way. I'm just hoping that somewhere on the back of that SUV is a Hillary or a Bernie sticker, or even if there's not, that some Chick-fil-A eating douchebag isn't going to let me die out here just because of the 5-inch inseam of my shorts or the pattern on my hat. Still cautious, he says, "Well, you better get in then, I suppose." His wife is still visibly shaken from the other seat. Some of me feels terrible being raised in the Southeast for the imposition I'm about to cause, but so much more of me is thankful I'm inside a car while the sun is disappearing behind the mountains. Turns out, this man had been born here before moving to Ohio to experience my story, but in reverse. And he was riding the total for 3 extra miles. That I would have hit the Las Vegas Strip before I made it back to the visitor center. He laughs. I want to laugh with him, but at best I have a few words left in me. I want to turn on a little charm to make it clear to his wife I have no intention of murdering them in their car. It hadn't even occurred to me that I'd also be getting into a car with strangers, that this would be my first experience hitchhiking. It was a lot of firsts for hikes that day. It was a 15-minute drive to get back to the guard station and into Red Rock Canyon. I wished I had brought money or had an extra protein bar left in my bag to show my appreciation for the ride and the kindness, but instead I just said the word gratitude, and I really, truly meant it. I told them I would never forget that they had saved my life. I did turn on the AC once I found my little yellow car alone in the dark lot, but I drove in silence and I didn't stop at Taco Bell. I didn't get a chalupa or a gordita or anything with guacamole. I actually didn't eat for 2 days because of extreme dehydration. But if pushing myself through 16 miles of desolate wilderness, rattlesnakes, and hungry coyotes taught me anything, it's that whether you want a Baja Blast or an adventure, sometimes west isn't the direction your compass is pointed. West is whatever direction you need to keep growing as a person. Thank you guys, I appreciate it.